morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever it is, wherever you are. Welcome on in to Link to the Past Randomizer League Invitational League action on the ALTTPR League 1 here at Maine. My name is Westside Vandal. With me is Rive.
Hello, Wes, and hello, everybody watching. We're looking forward to a very great match here today with Did You Check Your Boot versus Forfeiters Are Us. Revenant being racing versus dataplet, with on the pilot side we have Worthjig for Revenant, and we have Residator for dataplets. Is there anything you can tell us about these, Wes?
They are all very good runners. I'm very familiar with dataplet, having raced with him in league play a few times. He is a very good runner when he completes seeds. He's going to kill me for saying that. Anyway, but it's the Invitational League. All of these runners were invited to be here, so the competition level is high. So even though I don't personally know 3 and 4 of these runners, I can only assume it's going to be a very, very contested race. Unfortunately for these particular teams, they've kind of run into some stiff competition in the Misery Mire division in the Dark World Conference here, with only 9 points between the two of them. Did You Check Your Boot? With 2 wins to Forfeiters Are Us' 1. Revenant has 1 win to his personal credit. Dataplet is 0-2 so far, and we are just about set to get underway here.
Being week 4, of course, nothing is lost, and actually they've started now, so they're gonna put their all in to get as many points as they can here in these matches, and hey, they can still go far, definitely.
Indeed.
This is well, that looked identical until they did a different run, but
yep, yeah, they both started at Sanctuary. Looks like they are both heading over to do the quick Houlihan, which you do see a bit in these piloted spoiler log seeds, because you never know if Zora is going to require something.
That, and also allowing them to get a quick reward from the bottle vendor.
Hold on 1 second here. Okay, so both runners Houlihaning here. Popping out at Link's house, but not opening the Link's house chest, so don't know if the pilots have seen that chest yet. If they have, it's not anything important.
I have to assume that they have, and they told their racers to ignore it.
Seeing some bomb. Some bomb pickups here from the south of Grove. Also ignoring race game.
Bit of a different style of getting into Kakariko that you usually don't see.
Bombs in the tavern for Revenant. He's using the bombs he picked up at Grove. To just go into Chicken Hut. Revenant not too far behind. Already a pretty healthy start to this seed. 2 full heart containers found already.
Yeah, 5 hearts before 10-20 minutes is already indeed pretty healthy.
Yeah. For a piloted race, at least.
Yes.
Right. Oh, hammer from the bottle merchant. Nice.
Yeah, that Houlihan's paying off nicely already. So dataplet buying those bombs because, of course, he does need more, but then spending the time to pick up the bombs in the back of the bar anyway, but not getting anything because he's already at 10.
Key to Dark Palace in the back of Kakariko Well here.
And that's the only thing he picks up.
Well, he did pick up 10 rupees when there was a 20 in that chest right there that he skipped. Interesting move there. Going into Blind's basement. Mirror.
Just need that glove for the Dark World.
Well, we would love to see. Never mind. I was about to say we would love to see Moon Pearl.
Yeah, so otherwise they'd have to go Bunny Dark World if anything, unless of course there's probably plenty of stuff to do still on the overworld.
Oh yeah. Actually, we still need glove.
Yeah, they still need that to get in. But heading over to Saha Closet here, Revenant, or maybe he's gonna dip Eastern. That's the question.
Okay, or it could be both. Still plenty of items to be found here, obviously, as we are in the early stages of this race. Good use of the hammer. Well, apparently nothing in Saha is hot for the moment, because Revenant's just going straight into Eastern here. Like not too far behind. So
it's always nice to see that near identical movement with only a little time difference.
Yep. Ooh, dataplet. Get lucky with the full magic drop there. Granted, nothing to use said magic on at the moment, but
Revenant running to the cannonball chest, but halfway probably hears from his pilot, no, don't bother, turns around and proceeds on.
Okay. To the right now.
Dataplet doing the same, heading there first, turning around, and there's the glove.
Yep. So that's probably just a little bit of confusion with the log. You don't usually think of what these chests are actually called.
I think well, the first one is the cannonball chest. I think this is the map chest, I think. Yeah, there's a big list of what each chest, of course, is called in the spoiler log, and that's yet another thing these runners have to learn when doing these kinds of races.
Yep. Right, so immediate Dark World dip here, an immediate Hype Cave check.
Well, for us, it's a check. For them, it's a pickup, because they already know what they're getting.
Picking up 10 arrows from the NPC, sure, why not? 10 bombs, also sure, why not? Okay. And that will be it. Okay, so with that spoiler log being freely accessible, our tracker, iHear, also has that information. As you can see, all of the pendants and crystals have already been marked for us. Not too bad of a layout here, honestly. No Turtle Rock needed. Well, at least crystal-wise. We could still need to dive in there for items. Ice Palace and Skull Woods being our other two pendants.
So from that, Fire Rod's not a hot item, so they'll need to pick it up eventually, but
not too high up on the list of priorities. Almost becomes kind of a discount lamp. All right. Small key to Dark Palace here, and 2 small keys to Dark Palace of Darkness in the back of Escape. I think we're going to be seeing a Palace of Darkness trip here soon enough with all these small keys.
Now, can they pick up a bow somewhere first? Can they pick up the big key first? Because of course they need both to be able to clear it. Can do too much there without. Well, you get with the 2 keys. There's a fair amount of chests you can access without a bow. There's the second glove in the chess game, in the Village of Outcasts.
Nice. All right. Gonna be heading into Thieves Town here. Oh, nope, just opening it up for now while we're
Or
here.
not. Gonna have to do that anyway, so.
We will need to do it at some point. I would assume our runners do want to try and find that big key first to be able to just do it all in one shot. But sometimes that just isn't possible if the seed decides to be rude enough. Powder in C-shaped house. That's a nice little find there. Opens up one item and also just the ability to get safeties throughout the match.
Yeah. Then that's the question: was it easily available, and did he pick it up for safety, or is it needed? I'm curious. Nice.
All right.
That's something you love to see. Boots on bumper.
Yeah. So immediate answer: yeah, we kind of need that cape because even if the boots don't actually lock anything, they make things so much faster. Small key to Desert Palace in Skull Woods. So that says to me we're wanting something on the right side of desert.
Because he went in there just for that one item, so there's got to be something there.
Okay.
Looks like he's gonna go pick up his boots as well.
Yep. They're right there, and the cape wasn't that far out of the way. Makes things so much faster. Nice use of sign fu.
Sign fu, that's nice. I gotta imagine that's one of the first things these guys check. Of course, where are those boots? Let's go fast, and then route that all in.
Okay. Now Revenant heading directly for King's Tomb here. So a few logically out of the way locations coming up early in this one here. There's the hook shot.
Yeah, a bit of a slow start weapon-wise, very fast. They got the hammer though, but very fast Dark World axes, and now the items are all coming in one after another.
I would imagine... looks like Revenant gonna go ahead and route in the back of escape those 2 pod keys here. I would imagine with that hook shot and hammer in hand, I wouldn't be shocked to see a potential trip up Death Mountain here. Because Dark Old Man Rescue isn't that much of an imposition, especially
these runners can definitely take a quick run through the darkness and not mind that one bit.
Doesn't cards yet though for Revenant as he saving quits and heads to Link's house. And
I think Dataplet might still take a quick trip to the Village of Outcasts because he did not pick up that powder yet, nor the second glove.
Ah, okay, interesting. Meanwhile, also interesting, Revenant is in Escape here. Is making a beeline for the back of Escape. Or excuse me, the front of Escape. My apologies.
And immediately showing why those boots are so good. You cut down each time of each hallway by half at least.
And well, that's certainly a valid reason to come here. That's the Cane of Samaria. We're going to be needing that for Misery Mire.
Well, you mean Swamp Palace?
Well, logically, we need it for Misery Mire. Cane of Samaria does make Swamp a lot easier.
I mixed something up in my head. My apologies.
You're fine.
He was holding the mirror, and I was like, but the mirror is needed for Swamp Palace, not for Mire. But you were, of course, talking about the wrecking that he had just picked up.
Dang. No Castle Tower keys whatsoever, but Revenant using that cape, bypassing the barrier, and is going to be opening this chest in Castle Tower. Or maybe, there we go. For the flute!
Definitely worth it, making that trip up that mountain that much faster while dataplet is going in through the darkness.
A sword. The hookshot does make this a little easier, though. Can kind of help you gain your bearings if you get lost.
But that's gonna make him take a little bit longer doing that compared to what Revenant's gonna do. But from this moment on, as long as dataplet doesn't pick up that flute, that is gonna be time gain for Revenant every single time he can route something faster because of that flute.
Which he has now activated, so Goose is loose, Duck is muck, blah blah blah, etc. etc. Flippers on top of Spectacle Rock there.
So with the hookshot, that puts Swamp Palace into play. But do they have a key for that? No, they do not, and they definitely do need that first key before they can do anything there.
Be hot on dataplet's heels here. We do have boots and the hookshot and bombs. So multiple ways to Herapot and invalidate the need for the Tower of Hera big key here. Dataplet opting for the spin speed, or the hook speed in this case.
He's got it.
Got the lineup, and away we go.
That was quick. That was really quick.
Yeah, if you can get that lineup down, it is very smooth. Looks like we're going to have something in this chest here as well. And that something is the fire rod. Alrighty then.
Well, it wasn't high on the list, but if it's here, might as well pick it up before you head up and kill the troll dorm.
Revenant having a little bit more difficulty, but not very much with that hook speed Herapot. Gonna go grab his fire rod as well. And now dataplet. It is going to be tenderizing time for Moldorm here. Hopefully. If he wants to get out of the left side of the arena.
Nope, that's then the question is, do you want to wait? But is he gonna get out of there? It's
Dataplet got a little bit impatient there. Might have just taken the fall just to reset the RNG or the AI.
You have to get so close with that hammer to get those hits in.
Moldorm being a bit more polite to Revenant here. Revenant takes down Moldorm.
He only missed one hit. He went through that very smoothly.
And dataplet not too far behind after having to kind of reset the AI a little bit there with that fall.
And with only 7 seconds difference, both runners are now on the board with their first crystal.
We'll see if we continue going through the mountain here. Looks like we are going to stay on Death Mountain for a little bit. So Revenant making his way over to the right side of Light Death Mountain. We do have the Moon Pearl and the Hookshot as well, so Dark Death Mountain could come into play here. I do notice that both runners are skipping Spiral.
And opting to go down towards Paradox Cave first. So we can pretty much assume that Spiral has nothing that they want. Otherwise, they would of course chosen to go down through there and then make their way back up, most likely through this Paradox Cave. Half Magic was a nice pickup though.
All right, so dataplet, what are you doing, buddy?
Maybe want to go with the Hookshot Cave?
Yeah, fair. I for some reason, I just associate... Eastern Palace big key there. Paradox. And the East Town big key.
Making both those dungeons clearable. Well, they're still missing the bow, of course, for Eastern Palace.
Small key to Palace of Darkness and Hookshot, and looks like that's going to be all we want here.
That makes 3 keys for Palace of Darkness. So they're just missing that big key, and then they can go to town. Well, there's also the bow, of course.
And there was a small key on Floating Island here that dataplet is making an effort to grab. Oop, threw bomb wrong way. So throw another one to open the way he actually wants to go. Right, and that's going to be the Swamp Palace small key. So that's going to put Swamp fully in logic.
Do you think we'll see a hookshot hammer Swamp here? Because they do have everything they need to go through Swamp now.
I'm sure our runners would appreciate having at least Master Sword to not have to do a menu. Well, we do have Quick Swap enabled now, so it's not as onerous as it used to be, but it's still just kind of doesn't feel good.
Yeah, I can't imagine that it would. Now, I also think that if they were to do hookshot hammer, they might forego the quick swap depending on how many items they have in between them, because it might still be faster to use the menu if there's too much in between.
So interesting to note here, dataplet went ahead and picked up the 300 rupees and picked up this 300 rupees in Paradox Cave. Also picking up everything in Upper Paradox Cave here. So
and both players pretty much doing what the other did in reverse order, except dataplet picking up a lot more money there. So did the pilot maybe not communicate which test specifically, or did they see something on Zora that Revenant pilot may have missed? I can't imagine that they would miss that.
Or dataplet could have just wanted money to buy potions if there's bottles in the critical path. Who knows? But at any rate, dataplet now going to be heading into Escape here. I would assume he's going to pick up his Cane of Samaria and then head for that flute.
I think you're absolutely right. That seems very logical.
Looks like we're going to see the Swamp Blade from Revenant here as well.
Well, let's hope for him that there's a sword inside, otherwise it will be the hookshot hammer.
It's about to receive his flute. There's the flute. There's the save and quit. And I can't imagine dataplet being too far behind here going to Swamp.
I'm wondering, has dataplet done anything that Revenant has not?
Not I can think of off the top of my head. At least not anything that's currently relevant.
Yeah, no, I think they've covered pretty much the same ground. So dataplet is pretty much the flute activation and then going into Swamp behind, which is not much.
We'll see what dataplet's next move here is. If he decides to go into Swamp for with just the hook shot and the our tracker pointing out that dataplet still has yet to go to Village of Outcasts to get that powder.
He did pick up the second glove in the chest game, but didn't pick up that powder. So I'm wondering, is it a safety after all?
Yeah, that kind of sounds like a safety pickup for Revenant.
But dataplet's going to Mire here.
Gonna need Quake for Mire today. Of course, we already knew that, having the spoiler log information.
That's always funny to see those muscle memory reflexes that they have, checking those things as they come there.
Revenant, nice diver down here on Swamp. And gonna be heading to the left side, so something of import here, I would assume.
Now we're going to get to see what's on that right side of Desert Palace, which both players went out of their way to pick up that small key. So we have to assume there's something there that they're going to need.
10 Arrow is definitely not really fulfilling that quota. Revenant skipping the left side. There's our first sword of the seed in Desert Palace.
If you have a fighter sword and there's another sword, so I was just about to ask, if you have a fighter sword and a hammer going into Argus, would you can you do anything with the fighter sword, or do you just have to use the hammer then?
I believe you can still damage Argus puffs with a spin with the fighter sword, but I would probably still use the hammer, if I'm being honest.
But of course, with that pickup in Eastern Palace of the Sword, he will have Master Sword going into Argus, so he'll have a little bit of an easier time in that fight, especially since they are both on low HP, and he did pick up an extra heart as well on Desert Ledge for that little bit of extra safety, but forgoes the Swamp Palace play and goes into Thieves Town.
Alrighty. Another diver down here from Revenant. Grabbing those hearts. Grabbing a bow out of the flooded room.
Eastern Palace and Palace of Darkness are ready to go now.
And chat now beginning to file in. Oh, first bottle with a red goo in it. Nice. Chat beginning to pour in now and pointing out that it takes 2 fighter sword spins to kill an Argus puff. So yeah, I would definitely just be using the hammer.
Yeah, I can imagine that would be so slow to get those puffs down.
So dataplet now making his way to attic chest. He is going deep into Thieves Town here with oh, no, he does have the big key. That's right. That was in Paradox. Sorry.
Yes. And we're seeing fighter sword spins here from Revenant, killing those buffs very smoothly. So apparently one spin and 1 slash should be good enough, or 1 spin and a poke.
All right. Getting some double pulls, but does take a death due to standing below Argus there. If you stand below Argus and the puffs specifically, there's some hitbox weirdness that makes it far more likely for you to get hit. So that is an unfortunate death for Revenant. Gonna have to go all the way back through Swamp here to get back to Argus. Wasn't quite fully paying attention. Didn't see if he tried to salvage anything by using that red potion he just picked up or not.
He did not. The red potion is still in his inventory.
Okay. I'm a little interested in what dataplet could possibly be hoarding all these rupees for. I mean, we've got plenty to pay off Zora and open Palace of Darkness at this point.
All the potions. All the blue potions.
Yeah. I mean, we do have at least 1 bottle on the critical path, so it's not. It's in the waterfall chest here in Swamp, so it's not that much of an imposition to grab. Blind fight, scripted, dataplet executing the first part of the script, doing pretty good with the second part of the script, and. Respectable blind fight.
Perfect.
And yet more rupees from the boss, but more importantly, a second crystal.
Let's see if we can see a second crystal here for Revenant from Argus. Taking more care not to get hit, taking a step back after each pull-in.
Also, looks like he is, well, nope, not quite. Learning not to stand below the Argus. Alright, got that one. 1 more to go. Being a little stubborn, got it.
The fighter sword is gonna definitely help with this last phase, though. Look at him go. And half magic helping him out, and there goes Argus.
Okay, looks like dataplet is actually going to go in here and take on Mothula with half magic and the fire rod. Also does have the hammer. which can be used on Mothula here.
The question is he actually gonna go all the way to Mothula, or is he gonna just get that chest there? Looks like he's going all the way there. So Mothula being a pendant, but it is the green pendant. So the question is, does Mothula have the item that he wants, or is he gonna have to take a quick trip to Saha after?
Ah.
In the meantime, Revenant making his way to Palace of Darkness. Having everything he needs to go through there. Probably going to go for the double for Eastern Palace right after. If, of course, the green pendant has an item that he needs, then dataplet can do the 2.5. One Palace of Darkness clear, one Eastern Palace clear, followed by the hand-in, or maybe the hand-in on his way to Palace of Darkness. Probably that, since it's kind of on the way while you're going through the maze.
Alright. Dataplet survives the Mothula fight, gets a green rupee and the green pendant.
That's always such a scary fight, especially at such low percent.
All right, and there's a third sword there in Palace of Darkness for Revenant. Well, sorry, it's Revenant's second sword, but it's the third we've seen.
So he can already be comfortable knowing that he's well, they already know, of course, but he'll definitely have tempered by the time he gets further and towards Ganon's Tower.
All right, so looks like Dataplet is going to go into Swamp as well. Oh, no follow-up as of yet on the Mothula play in Skull Woods there. So we'll see what that develops into.
Well, I'm expecting that he'll hand in the green pendant when he clears when he goes in for Palace of Darkness, because the bow, of course, is in Swamp Palace, so he's gonna want that first before going over there.
Revenant, meanwhile, did open the door to Palace of Darkness, but is deciding to do Eastern first. Could be something in here that makes Palace of Darkness a bit more palatable to clear.
Maybe a lamp. These guys can, of course, do these dark rooms without a lamp, but with such low health, it's still dangerous.
Especially this Eastern one, which can kind of sneak up on you if you're not careful.
With the fire rod, though, it is in logic because there are torches here.
Yes, I forgot we had the fire rod already. We are, of course, going to see that. Nicely done by Revenant. Does look like he's just making a beeline straight back for the Armos Knights here. So we did already, we did already see the first glove here in Eastern Palace earlier. So let's just be that and whatever the boss is holding on to here, or it could just be, let's just grab this crystal right now.
And that was a perfect night fight from Revenant. That was clean.
And that's the big key of Desert there.
Dataplet picking up his bow in the meantime in Swamp Palace, choosing not to do the diver down and just emptying the water normally before making his way to his bottle and Argus.
Chat also pointing out dataplet did elect to skip the left side of Swamp, which is interesting.
So he will pick up his second sword then in Palace of Darkness, but then will he be picking up another sword somewhere else, or is he are they choosing to route no other sword and just going Master Sword? I would think that would you think that left side of Swamp is faster, or loses you more time than going with Master Sword into Ganon?
I mean, Master Sword Ganon is no joke, period. Much less, say, a Master Sword Silverless. So, I've got to assume that the fourth sword we haven't seen is also somewhere on the critical path, because...
Or maybe somewhere that just takes less time than left side Swamp.
Yeah. So we'll see how that situation develops. Meanwhile, Revenant went into Ice Palace specifically for a small key to Turtle Rock.
Which is their second small key to there.
Which implies that there's something buried in Pendant TR that our runners want. Sorry, I just now noticed that Argus was holding on to the map for Swamp, which is hilarious. It looks like we do have a medallion of some description on the Zora ledge there.
I would expect it to be Bombos or Quake. I mean, he did pick up the second key for Turtle Rock.
And it is Quake. So that is our Mire entrance, Mire being a crystal.
And with the Wrecking, he probably will be heading over there. Maybe he'll dip into the Desert Palace first, to the right side, to pick up his Tempered Sword there.
Ready. Meanwhile, dataplet making the play into Ice, presumably for that PR small. Gold versus tempered isn't very much of an advantage per se. Tempered versus mastered is definitely a significant mismatch, though.
Revenant ran to the left side where the big key is, and then mirrored out. Don't really know what. He's going to the back now. Well, he can clear it.
And there's something we need to do. So some interesting routing decisions from both runners so far.
Maybe, like you said, the fourth sword is somewhere where they know on their path that they can get for free, and him deciding, no, we're not going to spend that time going to the right. We're going to pick up a tempered later anyway, and it's not worth it.
Well, something to keep an eye on as this seed continues. Revenant gonna go ahead, light the torches, watch this wall, and then head into the landless fight for what will be his third crystal. Which actually, sneakily, dataplet has 3 crystals and a pendant at the moment. I did not realize that until I looked for a comparison. Big key of Mire off of Landless there.
I think that's a good reason to go over here first.
Tracker correcting my counting skills. That's Revenant's 4th crystal.
And dataplet now doing that play I was talking about earlier, going to Palace of Darkness and Eastern Palace, not dropping off the green pendant just yet. But I'm wondering if he will also decide to get out of Palace of Darkness like Revenant did, because he ended up not clearing that despite having, as far as I can see, everything he does need for it.
Yeah. which is interesting because Palace of Darkness is a required crystal.
Dataplet also choosing to do Eastern Palace first.
And still just on the fighter sword here. Meanwhile, Revenant clearing out Meyer. Making a detour here. Having that small key and doubling back.
So we can expect him to go to the left side here. Who knows? Maybe they need cutscene chest.
Ugh.
I think everybody shares that reaction with you. No, not quite.
Like,
using a key to pick up a key seems like an odd choice to me. Oh wait, he had the crystal switch there, so he needed to trigger that so that he can come over here and run through. Or not.
this is certainly some Meyer routing. Meanwhile, Dataplet just about back to Armos Knights himself. This is going to be Dataplet's fourth crystal. He does also have that green pendant, so 5 boss kills total so far for Dataplet after Armos Knights falls here.
Not a very smooth boss fight there. And there's the last sword.
Okay, then.
I'm really curious if Dataplet's gonna go to Palace of Darkness right now. He is, so he's probably gonna go pick up that sword, but is he gonna finish the dungeon?
I mean, does have the keys to do it.
But so did Revenant.
Huh. Yeah, there've been some odd routing decisions from both runners so far in this race. I'll be interested to see if we can get them in here for an interview afterwards to talk some of this out here.
Revenant making his way very smoothly through those dark rooms in the back of Meyer.
Oh, we're both missing that this is key sanity. We need the Palace of Darkness big key. That's why they haven't finished Palace of Darkness yet.
I could have sworn he had it. That's my bad.
Don't worry, it's been a long day for crew volunteers here on the league. With since there needed to be 4 people on the same schedule as opposed to just 2 to run a race, that really limits the amount of time that's possible. So a lot of weekend matches scheduled. Us volunteers have been pulling double and triple duty today, so our minds are a little goopy at the moment. Speaking of goop, Vitreous goes down pretty easy for Revenant there.
Yeah, that was very, very smooth with that Temper Sword taking quick care of the small eyes and then just a couple of arrows in to the big one.
Small key to Ganon's tower off of Vitreous there. More importantly, I would have to believe it is that crystal for Revenant.
Now, Dataplet did not pick up the Master Sword in Palace of Darkness.
He has Master Sword, though.
Oh, it just got updated. Okay. That's what I was going off the tracker there. My bad. It was just updated.
Yeah. All right, and it looks like he's going to be following in Revenant's footsteps here in regards to doubling Meyer and Desert.
So he'll also be picking up his temper soon enough, and then both players will be finishing it off, finishing this match with that sword.
There's Bombos Medallion, and that means that Revenant is gearing up to go into Pendant Turtle Rock.
You see the Turtle Rock pendant, you're thinking, yes, don't have to do that dungeon, and the game is like, no, we're going there anyway. But that brings up an interesting point. Dataplet did not hand in the green pendant, and Revenant is now gearing up to go into Turtle Rock, and it's not like there was a drop from Mothula that was worth it. That was rupees. So, do they need to get pedestal?
That would appear to be the implication at the moment. But we'll see how this race develops here. Dataplet.
Nice one cycle from Dataplet.
Yeah, I thought he had missed it, but got it off.
It was so close. The head was gone.
Yeah, that's why I thought he'd missed it, because the final Animalist was starting to submerge, and he got it. So there's that Meyer Big Key, which Dataplet is probably going to immediately turn into a Meyer Clear here. Meanwhile, Revenant hook speeding to quickly pound those pegs down and is opening up Turtle Rock. So he is going into Turtle Rock. We'll see how this situation develops. Keep in mind, we cannot kill Trinex yet. We do not have that Ice Rod. So I would assume this is simply an item gathering mission from Revenant, unless the Seed has done the favored move of Lazy Kid and Sahas Robot and put Ice Rod on Laser Bridge.
That evil randomizer setup.
Yep. Oh, I had the lesser known cousin of that particular move, Fire Rod, on Laser Bridge the other day. That was fun.
That is even more evil. I was already mad enough at the Seed when I had a.
Well, that would be why we needed to go into Turtle Rock. That's the big key to Gen's Tower.
Definitely important. He's continuing though, so he's not done, and he goes off that stairs a bit too quickly. I'm wondering. I can't think that was on purpose for a death warp.
Nope.
Dataplet picking up a quick heart that Revenant did not for a little bit extra safety. As well as the heart on Desert Ledge, I don't think Revenant picked that one up either.
Huh. Oh, Revenant taking a little bit of damage from that red Salphos. All right. So what else could there be here in Turtle Rock that would be important enough to come back in after a death like that?
I'm calling it. It's going to be Ice Rod into Pendant required for Pedestal. Of course, I have no real evidence of that yet, but I'm hoping.
Okay. So Dataplet picking up that mushroom, which does give us that Bombos, which we now know we need because we need that Gen's Tower Big Key. But apparently we need something else from this area here as Revenant continues the onward march, as it were. And mirroring. So this might be why he continued on. He needed to get to Mimic Cave. Pulling out that hammer, and nicely done. That is a big key. That's the big key to Palace of Darkness. Yeah, that's definitely necessary.
And saves and quits from there. So, what if? I'm not gonna say it. It's too evil.
Well, hold on a minute here. Revenant is in go mode. Revenant just has to clear Thieves Town and Palace of Darkness, and he can climb Ganon's tower.
You are absolutely right. With that big key, he now has everything. really has everything he needs for Palace of Darkness, and Thieves Town only requires the one big key. So we know it's clearable already because of course dataplet has already done it. So he's going to be racing through there.
Here's the kicker. Here is as soon as dataplet gets this small key from sorry, I'm losing my train of. Oh, because he's doing Dark Mire. Sorry. Which, yeah, by the way, both of our runners did Dark Mire. Nice.
Yeah, those rooms are very scary, especially with such low life, and they're getting through those at incredible speeds.
For some reason, I thought dataplet was already in Turtle Rock, and I was looking over and seeing a dark screen, and knowing we didn't have to go that far into Turtle Rock, and just kind of going, wait, why is dataplet here?
Seeing mirror strats from dataplet to get those eyes down.
Not
cape, mirror, cape, I mean, yes. Yeah. Better not pull out that mirror.
No, that's not something you want to do, especially when Dark Mire is involved. All right. So, here's the thing. Revenant has a few rooms left in Thieves Town and a scripted blind fight, and then he goes to Thieves Town. Dataplet has to go all the way up Death Mountain into Turtle Rock, all the way to Mimic Cave, and then finish off Helmisar. So at this point, I gotta imagine that Revenant has control at the moment. That could change very quickly, but Revenant seems to be in control at the moment. And that green pendant play is going to loom large here for dataplet.
Yeah, has become a bit questionable because he has not handed that in. So why has he done that? Why has he spent that time? What did the pilot say to him that's made him do that?
Yeah. Because I can't really think of anything that would be earth-shatteringly important at this point to cause you to go make that play. Like, the only thing I could possibly think of is Silvers, but if that were the case, you'd figure dataplet would have grabbed that already. At any rate, Revenant...
It would have sped up his Arbus Knight fight.
Sped up the Vitreous fight a little bit as well.
You're absolutely right.
Revenant nice taking, good care of blind there. And Revenant is now going to be able to head over to Palace of Darkness for that 7th and final boss kill.
The drop from Mothula, to respond to chat, the drop from Mothula was just rupees.
Yeah, it wasn't even rupees. It was a rupee. It was a green rupee. So, a weird play from dataplet.
So Revenant landing at 51:24 at Palace of Darkness. That'll give us a bit of a time difference once dataplet lands there to see how far apart they are. Because of course, after he's done there in Turtle Rock, he will have to head over to Palace of Darkness as well. And they pretty much have the same stuff left to do in there. Head over to the back to Helmisar and we'll kill him.
Yeah, I like I said. This is definitely advantage Revenant at this point. But we are looking at 5 hearts green mail right now for Revenant, which is a pretty scary set of circumstances to be climbing Gan's Tower, even with 1 bottle as backup. Big key to Gan's Tower for dataplet. Had the cape equipped just in case he needed to make a quick escape from the chain chomps. Does not need it. Avoids getting clipped by the fairy, the anti-fairy there. It's making his way to Mimic Cave.
Nearly runs into the other anti-fairy.
There we go. Revenant. Missed 1 shot there, but nice cleanup. Putting up the cutscene wall here in Palace of Darkness. dataplet just about to mimic Cave for his go mode Palace of Darkness big key. Yeah, I gotta say right now that green pendant play looming large here, that could be the difference maker in this match. Revenant making good use of the fire rod there to clean up the turtle room here, proving he is in fact a member of the Turtle Club. And now dataplet fluting out, heading to 5. Gonna be about a full dungeon behind here.
That's 2 minutes and 28 seconds difference.
Yeah. That is not a number you want to see this late into the matchup.
Definitely not, considering most of these runs only last just over an hour. And that's last crystal for Revenant, making quick work of King Helmazar.
Right. Dataplet entering Palace of Darkness just as Revenant is about to leave. Revenant gonna be able to go directly to Gan's Tower here and begin the ascent. The flute, and Revenant heading to flute spot 1 here.
And making quick use of that hook speed. Look how practice he runs through those rocks. That is so smooth.
Didn't get dead rocked, didn't fall off the ledge. That was a pretty smooth run there. Yeah, Revenant is feeling it. He is going to go into Ganon's Tower here, looking like he's going to be going into Ganon's Tower with 5 heart green mail with just 1 backup.
He's got confidence.
Granted, we have Tempered Sword, we have Cape. We should be able to finagle things here. About the only thing that might be an issue is we do not have that lamp, so we need to be using Fire Rod for the torch. So that could pose an issue if we missed that.
The half magic is definitely going to help out with that, but yeah, if you want to definitely hit that that fire glitch, so you're not spending constantly time going back and forth between those 2 torches.
Dataplet through there. I'm going to go ahead and use the cape to avoid issues here from the looks of it. And Revenant just immediately going upstairs here. We did find a Gan's Tower big key on one of the bosses, or excuse me, small key on one of the bosses earlier, so we don't need to steal the key from the left. Dataplet, meanwhile, taking on Helmazar King here, his final boss of the 7 needed. Let us see here if Dataplet can make up some time. Although with such a large gap to clear, there is going to need to be some sort of error from Revenant here for Dataplet to catch up. But stranger things have happened, and again, 5 hearts, green mail. If Revenant steps too close to Ganon, he dies.
Yeah, like I said, there needs to be an error, but 1 error is really all it's going to take in this situation. Even those spikes there in the middle bringing him closer to zero.
And this is where that powder is going to come into play as well for Revenant, because there is a bubble beam coming up that he can use to regain that health. He just has to get to it first, which is easier said than done, even though he just made it look easy. In this room.
That laser still. No, he ignores it. He goes straight to land mode 2.
Well, he did get a heart drop from one of the enemies there, so that might have impacted the decision a little bit. Nice, clean land mode too.
Wow, that was so fast.
Good gracious. Picks up a little bit of magic, picks up 1 heart.
And dataplet now
situation looking a little dire for Revenant here. May have to think about using that blue potion a little earlier than he might want to.
Yeah, you really don't want to have to use that. That would be very unfortunate.
Think he might have enough?
No.
Think he might have enough?
I don't think so. Oh yeah, because there's one small magic pickup he can still get.
No, he's not going to have enough time. He's going to have to burn his blue right here. That is not what you want to see if you're Revenant.
Picking up that pot, but not picking up the magic refill.
Interesting choice. I mean, yes, it's not that much of a refill, but every little bit of magic counts in this situation, especially now that you no longer have a backup. Picks up the small key there from the mini Helmasaur. Gonna continue making his way down here. And granted, we do have another magic decanter, full magic decanter coming up here. Grabs another heart out of that chest, grabs that full magic decanter.
And time for Moldworm 2.
Alrighty. 1 and a spin should take down Moldworm 2. Misses it. There we go. There's that spin we needed. So a nice, easy Moldworm 2 for Revenant. Not going to pick up Moldworm's Moldworm's lunchbox there.
Moldworm's lunchbox, that's the first time I've heard that one.
I was going to say Moldworm's last possession, but that just sounds morbid.
Yeah, I was about to say that is not that pleasant. And I got 2-5 for Revenant here coming right up. Geometry Mage or whatever it's called.
Geometry Wars is something I've heard it called. I've heard it called Agonometry.
Agonometry, that is my favorite one.
All right. Not favorite patterns coming from this particular Agathu fight.
He's got 4 hits in so far.
And there's 5 and 6.
Wow. Very nice.
So, dataplet steadily climbing up the tower here.
Yeah, he may be behind, but he's doing his very best to catch up there. He's going pretty smoothly.
Yep. So yeah, Revenant not out of the woods here yet. Still 6 hearts green male with no potion backup now. So if he wanders too close to either a Firebat or Ganon, he takes a death. And that's just going to be more time that dataplet can catch up.
I was wondering if he would maybe forego and actually go buy potions first, but he says no, I can do this. I have this cape. Let's get this party started.
Using that cape to get a couple extra shots in off of the Trident spin. A pretty clean Landmo 2 for dataplet as well. Already onwards and upwards, got the Canis Samaria equipped and ready for the Wizrobe room is dataplet. Meanwhile, Revenant on phase 2 of Ganon here.
I'm a bit worried about the fact that he doesn't have a magic refill. He has to use the Fire Rod and he has to kill Ganon with spins.
Yep. Good use of the cape glitch there to prevent magic loss. And we are now on phase 3 here.
As dataplet races to follow.
And we're already 3/4 of the way through phase 3. Revenant. Did you find the arrows in Turtle Rock? And I can now reveal to the chat, now that we've seen that hint, Trinex was holding on to our other bow.
That was time that you do not want to be spending, yeah.
So
he got the fire glitch.
Yep, got torch glitch. So that shouldn't be a concern here. Really just trying to avoid a bunch of different things here. Got a spin off there. Pretty much anything Ganon does to him is going to be lethal here. Oh,
oh, that was nearly hugged.
Good. 12 spins is what Revenant needs.
And he's got him down, so as long as he doesn't jump off, this is the end of that race. He did not get hit a single time, made good use of the cape where it counted, and last phase was just clean. Let's get some GGs in chat for Revenant.
Yeah, survived the most dangerous 1x3 bridge in all of Hyrule, and he is going to finish in first place with an official racetime.gg time of 1 hour, 4 minutes, and 2 seconds. Dataplet entering the Geometry Wars himself.
And also, let's get some GGs in chat for Worthjake, who piloted for Revenant.
Indeed. So we will be hopefully seeing those runners in here shortly for a talk. We'll probably wait until Dataplet and Dataplet finishes up here. Finishing up the Agatu fight, nice and smoothly, adding to his bot count. A lot.
Because that's how tiebreakers, of course, are determined.
Absolutely. Alrighty.
Having a little bit more safety with enough hearts to get hit once, as long as he doesn't hug Ganon anyway.
Yeah. Has enough health to tank a fire bat, still will die immediately if Ganon decides to hug him. Progressive armors, by the way, one was on Ether Tablet, and the other was on Lumberjack. So, yeah, about that.
Where was the book anyway?
Book of Medora was in the freezer chest of Ice Palace. Let's see here. Progressive, we did see all 4 swords, I believe.
Yes, we did. Because Revenant picked up the one in Palace of Darkness, while Dataplet picked up the one in east on the right side of Desert Palace.
Ice Rod. Well, Ice Rod Cave had our Ether Medallion. Ice Rod was in the Thieves Town Big Chest. So that's
they could have gotten
fun.
that, but they know they didn't need it.
Alrighty. So Dataplet now on to phase 4 already of Ganon while we were speaking.
And doing a very clean fight, just like Revenant, not getting any hits, even though he has that room for it. I think he still has a potion as well. And very clean. Let's get some GGs in chat as well for Dataplet.
Who as he looks to survive that 1x3 dangerous bridge, etc., etc.
As well as Recitator, who piloted for him.
Dataplet finishes in second place with an official racetime.gg time of 1 hour, 7 minutes, and 18 seconds. Righty. So we will get both teams in here for an interview ASAP. Yeah, about that, dataplet. Sorry, I was about to go over to the racetime.gg chat, and dataplet goes, I did Skull Woods. Whoops.
So we already know how they feel about that.
Welcome in, Recidador, the pilot for Forfeiters Are Us.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
So, how many questions did you have when Mothula was being killed?
I didn't really start to question it until probably about 15, 20 minutes afterwards, where you hadn't turned in the green pendant yet. And I looked just for, my sanity's sake and saw nothing, and I went,
So what had happened was, we were in the area, and Data was like, "I'll just go take care of Skullwoods now," and I was like, "Well, I was gonna get you a couple more swords first because I had already put out of my head what was pendants and crystals. I had it marked on his tracker, and I couldn't see his tracker very well. So he was like, "I'm gonna go kill Mothula," and I was like, "Oh, okay, sure, whatever. I'll just see where to go next." And then by the time he was at Mothula, I was like, "Oh, this is a pendant. Crap." So, but it was a really good fight.
yeah, pretty good fight. Unfortunately, an unnecessary one, and I think unfortunately it was the difference in this seed was that wholly unnecessary Skull Woods.
I think it was slightly longer than that, so I don't think that was the whole thing. But it would have been a little hyper at the end, I guess.
So, Werfchig is in the call, but is still muted. There he is.
Yeah, how's it going? I think Rev needs a little help getting in here because you can't
Okay.
see the voice channel.
Okay, he should be able to see the waiting room. Hold on. I will, Rive, if you want to go ahead and ask questions here, I'll go see if we can help out a little bit.
Yeah. GG's
All right.
to the door, by the way.
Yeah, GG's to you guys for the piloting on this race. Now, from the very start, we saw a lot of both of you taking a very similar route. Can you inform me a bit about the thought pattern that went into where you were going first? What the first decisions were?
Number one choice is where are the boots and how quick can we get to them? So that was pretty much decided early, since you just go get your Dark World access, get the cape, get the boots, and then from there just try to make some sense out of what's going on. Try to see if you can get a sword at some point to make your life less obnoxious. I almost sent Data to Skull, and then it was like no, or to swamp, I mean, and then I was like, no, we got to get you a sword first. You just trying to, in the middle, you got to really just try to sort out what your priorities are, because there tends to be stuff everywhere, but you don't need all of the stuff right away, and you have to. It can be a little confusing in the middle.
Yeah,
So-
I'm not sure how it sounds on your end, Recidador, but there was a lot of panic on mine just because I'm not used to piloting. So I ended up sending Rev to Swamp without a sword, I believe, but we got our first one in there on the left side.
Oh, see, we skipped that one. That was the one we didn't get.
So you went to Skull Woods and grabbed the one on the desert then?
Yes.
Yeah, so we got to skip all of Skull Woods.
I mean, I think that part of Skull Woods wasn't really a problem. The other part was. But...
Yeah.
I mean, the choices between left side swamp and right side desert are kind of equal in my eyes, I think. So I don't think that really was too much of a problem. But I think it's basically a case of which one of those options do you want to do. And that seemed less obnoxious than doing left side swamp to me. So that's what I went with. It was like you can just pop into Skullwoods and get a key, and then go get your boots, and then once you get the flute, you can just go grab a sword before you have to do any of these bosses, and your life will be slightly better.
Yeah, on my hand, it was less. I didn't have all the swords planned out, so I wasn't sure which ones were going to be attainable. Turns out they were all pretty attainable. It's just that the desert one and the left side swamp were the ones that would take time, because desert required you to dip Skullwoods for the small key.
Yeah.
Which you both had, by the way. You both had that small key fairly early. So from the commentator perspective, we thought, okay, something's important on the right side of Desert Palace. And Revenant, when you were in Desert Palace, you made your way towards the big chest room, but then mirrored out and went straight to Lanmos, while you, Residor, sent him to the right side and had Dataplet actually pick up that sword before then heading into Swamp Palace.
Yeah, I misheard Warpjig earlier. I thought he said it was in the big chest, not big key chest.
Yeah, I don't think we had the Skullwoods key.
We did not. Or the desert key.
Yeah, the desert key.
Yeah, I sent Data there before he even did I was like, go get your flute, and then go get a sword, and then just go to Thieves Town. And then, unfortunately, I couldn't see his tracker well enough to like warn him off of Skullwoods. But I was just like, I just wanted to get him a sword if possible before he dealt with any bosses, just because that just makes life less obnoxious.
Yeah, that's fair. I think for a lot of the seed, I was right in front of Rev, so it was a lot of scrambling to figure out where to go next. And there were definitely a couple moments where it's like I'd look off the screen and he'd be going, like the desert moment. I looked off the screen to try and plan stuff, and I saw he went into the wrong side. And I was like, no, stop.
Yeah, I don't think that happened too much, other than just like I said, he said he was gonna go kill Moth, and I was like, okay, sure. That was like our one, like, and then he killed, like, he was killing Moth, and I was like, wait, that's a pendant. And then I was just, at that point, I was just like, well, that was probably gonna lead to some questions, but also, good fight, good job.
And when that was happening, that we were thinking that has to be for the green pendant, or who knows, the pedestal. Of course, I did not check the spoiler log, so I had no idea. I was ready to be surprised. And then when you were preparing to go into Turtle Rock, we saw that prep. We were thinking, okay, there has to be something in there, or who knows, he needs that pendant. And when you got out after Mimic Cave, I was a bit disappointed because, of course, from that moment on, we knew you were in go mode. You had everything, and you were just getting ready to finish.
Yeah, just a little slip up.
There was a shield. I think so. Actually, one of the things I wanted to ask Residor was, where did you get all those hearts?
I didn't really go out of our way. I'd have to pull the
Desert
log.
Ledge was one.
Oh yeah, Desert Ledge.
No, I'm sorry, Rev.
It's all good.
Desert Ledge. Did you get the spike chest in Mire? That was one.
No.
Yeah, that was also one you missed, Rev, because you went straight for the other door as soon as you got that key.
Listen,
yeah,
we're a lean machine over here. we don't
But
need
that's
to think
the,
twice
that
about
was
it.
the only difference. Those are the
Yeah.
only difference in hearts, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 heart difference.
Because Green Pendant, I believe Sahasrara turn-in was one as well.
No.
No, it was not.
We did not turn the pendant in because, as it turns out, we didn't need it. So.
Yeah, that's fair. And I was
After
wrong.
you got that, you kind of wanted to put it out of your mind. Like, let's forget that happened and move on.
I was just like, maybe they'll take a death or something, and it'll be okay. But not
For
that I
most of the
wish
race-
death on anybody, but
For most of the race, you guys did everything fairly equally. Sometimes slightly different routing, but then mirroring where Group 1 does what Group 2 did, and Group 2 did what Group 1 did, with very similar results. The only other than Moxla, the other big difference was actually fairly early and didn't make a huge difference, but a bit. While I forget which team it was, but one team went straight up to Death Mountain and through the Old Man, while the other team went to the front escape and then up Castle Tower to get that flute, saving them some time because, of course, that flute you're gonna have to get that anywhere. So I'm wondering, going up to the Death Mountain, were you not aware yet that that flute was available there, or was that an active choice?
I knew it was there. I was just kind of like trying to plan out what would be fastest, and it didn't seem like it was much slower to go through the Old Man, honestly. So, and I basically wanted him to get the flute and be able to go like straight into Thieves Town or whatever. Just start taking care of dungeons. I didn't like it. He dashed up and mirrored, I think, and did Old Man, which I don't think is much worse than what he did, or than getting the flute and going. Because I mainly sent him up to the mountain when I did because I wanted him to get the fire rod because I knew the lamp was going to be not a thing.
Yeah.
So
Where was
I
the
wanted
lamp?
him catfish.
Catfish.
So I wanted him to get the fire rod. Actually, no. I think what it was at first was I wanted him to get the fire rod so that he could do Dark Maze in Aga Tower easier because that's where I read the flute was at first. But then but then I realized it wasn't there, and I was like, well, whatever. We'll just go up the mountain anyway, get the fire rod. Have our fire source in hand. We can get a crystal, get a couple other things on the other side of the mountain. So I don't know. I don't think that would have been a huge time difference.
No, you're right. It definitely wasn't a huge difference, but it was actually one of the small differences throughout this race, which made it a fairly. If we discount the time spent on Mark, this was really close. Even with that, it wasn't. The time is not far apart. So it really comes down to some of the small choices and the execution.
Yeah, I think Rev played really well this scene. Like,
He,
especially
yeah.
the worst part of piloting, in my opinion, is not the crunch in the beginning where you don't have all the answers that your runners want. It's the fact that you have probably 20 to 25 minutes of just watching and putting all the faith in the runners and hoping they don't screw it up.
I'm gonna say the worst part is in the middle because you sort out your Dark World access, and then it's like pick a direction, and which direction is really gonna be the most helpful in the moment. Because, like I said, usually stuff is scattered all over the place, and you don't need any of it right away. So you have to like piece it together in a way that makes sense, and there's a lot to choose from. So yeah.
Yeah.
And as Data says, the hardest part for him is trying to ask me questions if he needs to because he doesn't have a mic. He has to type them out.
Oh no.
Typing while racing to ask questions to your pilot, that seems like that would slow you down quite significantly.
He's usually pretty good to keep it to a minimum. So,
Yeah.
and I just try to repeat myself as much as possible to reduce the questions.
Yeah, that's one of those things that is unique to those co-op races. You got to work on your communication. Even if you do a side-by-side run with info sharing, you can just kind of yell where what is with pre-planned routing a bit. But here, you really have to decide together on what you want, how much you want to get with safeties, and not what are you comfortable in doing.
I'm not sure if you noticed, but I do not care how much my runners need safety.
We noticed.
I'll be honest. I usually try to get, or in our practices, I try to get a little bit more. But this time, or like during the race, I was like, if it was like even slightly out of the way, it was like, nope, you're gonna get what you get. And then like it was no armors, barely no bottles available. It's like, well, I hope you're good with your low percent dark mire and good luck.
Yeah.
Swamp House, Waterfall Room, Big Chest Desert, Spike Room Ice Palace, and Compass Chest Turtle Rock. Yeah, those are a bit out of the way model wise.
Yeah, the one gimme was the one in Swamp, and the rest were no.
I almost missed that one too.
And but even with that low percentage, I think throughout the entire run we only had one accidental death.
Two. Argus and chain jumps.
Yeah, okay. There's one after chain jumps with the anti-ferry, and there was one on Argus. Oh yeah, I remember because you were standing on the south of him, and Wes was commenting on that how the hitboxes are a bit more annoying when you're on the bottom of Argus.
Yes.
There is one other thing I wanted to ask about real quick that I don't remember hearing about. Revenant and was the Mire routing the result of just trying to figure out where was what? Because it seemed like the Mire routing felt a little off to me.
Yeah, I forgot I didn't have a small key, so I had to go back and get that key from the pot.
But yeah, I'm curious as to I think at the time what I would have done is I would have had Revenant loop around through the top again and save the key and use the door. But that's the only thing I can really think of that we didn't have a small key going into it, and I kind of just told Rev what to get and left him to his own devices while I tried to catch up on the piloting end. So, yeah, what were you expecting to see?
Well, he pretty much just used a small key to pick up a small key and nothing more, which was a bit odd to us.
Oh,
I
yeah,
had to
he had,
hit that switch.
he had to hit the switch.
Yeah, we
Because-
needed the mushroom from the chest next to the big chest, so you had to hit the switch.
Well, you went into that room with a small key from the from the left side of that room, and you don't need to hit the switch from that side if you're coming from that side.
You have to get a key to hit the switch, yeah.
But going into that room, the room where the chest with the mushroom was, he came in from the left side.
yeah,
so
you could have come through the top and saved a key, and then gone right back and used the key at the top of that room to take you straight to Vitreous.
wait.
Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
No.
No.
So when he got the key from under the pot in the room with the spike chest, and then went around to go into the room where the mushroom was, he came in from the left in that room.
I can never remember if that chest is
Yeah.
available without hitting the switch. If
No,
you come
you
from
have
the
to
left.
you have to hit the switch no matter what. Like no matter what direction you come at that chest.
We could have door extended. That's
I don't know that. I don't know that specific method.
It just looked a little off to us, enough for me to note it in my notes. So I was just like, I'm just gonna ask this real quick.
Oh, okay. So you burned your key. Okay, yeah, I see.
well, if it's something that we did that they did, then I'm gonna watch it back and make sure.
I mean, I just sent data over there, and then I actually was gonna. I'm so used to cross keys and left to right routing in Meyer that I was just like, go around the big chest and go to the map chest. But then he did the smart thing and went back up top and went down, and I was like, well, good for you, because that's definitely not how I would have done it, because I would have been in auto mode.
Yeah, I just told I told Rev, like, just do Meyer like you normally do it, and I'll tell you when to stop.
Alrighty then. So yeah, that just about covered what I had, because because of how fast these seeds go, I have very little chance to take notes. So all I had was dataplet, WT Green Pendant, and Revenant, WT Meyer. So
Well, turns out knowing your pendants and your crystals is slightly important.
Who knew? Are there any other thoughts you guys want to share? Any of the racers or trackers about what happened in this match? Anything else?
I was so nervous about having used that blue potion because I wanted to save it for getting in case I miss a torch glitch.
Yeah, I had. So at that point, I had seen where the runners were. So when he ran out of magic in the torch room, I was yelling at him like, "Use the potion! Use the potion! Use it!" So.
Oh yeah,
Thank
I was
you.
watching at the end. I don't pull up. I don't want to know what's going on while I'm trying to pilot, because it's too much. But I pulled it up at the end while I was waiting for the finish, and I was wondering. I was like watching you. I was like doing your Ganon. And I was like wondering, is he gonna get tagged and give us a couple extra minutes, or are we just like done for? But no, you had a good Ganon, so.
Yeah,
you did give everybody a bit of a scare there, because you came within like a couple of pixels of getting Ganon hugged.
Yeah.
Never count Ganon out.
All right. So, do you guys have your second matchups scheduled for this week yet?
Tomorrow at 2 p.m.
Yep. Tam and I are scheduled for that one.
All right.
And I will be piloting Humbug.
All right. So we'll be looking forward to that one. Thank you guys, and GG's on the race.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thanks for the
thank you.
commentary,
GG.
tracking. GG.
Yeah, thanks for all the tracking and all the comms. Good to it's good to be showcased.
Yeah, it's fun to showcase you guys. So, especially with how nuts today has been, there were something like 13 races across all the networks today.
I think I saw 17 in like a 3-hour span or something ridiculous.
So and a lot of them got covered. So shout outs to not just the crew we have with us today, myself and Rive on commentary, Ike here on tracking, and Amarith on the restream controls for this stream, but all of the background volunteers across both Speed Gaming and the ALTTPR League channels for just pulling together and double and triple duty in some cases today. To make sure we showcase as many as possible here. That being said, there are more races still to come tonight. There are actually 3 in progress right now. There's one happening on ALTTPR League. There are races on ALTTPR League 2, 3, and 4 going on right now. There is one starting on Speed Gaming 3 and Speed Gaming 4. And then there is one starting at 11 p.m. Eastern on Speed Gaming 3. So there's still like 5 matches tonight. So yeah, still yet more randomizer action across both Speed Gaming and the ALTTPR League. Make sure you get those follows in on Speed Gaming and Speed Gaming 2 through 6, and the ALTTPR League and the ALTTPR League 2 through 4. Wow, this was a race, and there's still more coming. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks again to Rive for co-commenting with me, and Ike here for tracking behind the scenes. Any last words, Rive?
I want to double down on the thanks to Ike because these key sanity trackings are hard, they're fast, and it's insane how well these trackers do their job. And I want to thank you again as well, Wes, and all the races for a wonderful race, and everybody else for watching.
I'm going to triple down on that tracker love. I don't normally think tracking is that hard. I tracked one race this week, and I said, no, I think I'll just stick to comms to help out this weekend. I just about had a heart attack.
A regular race, sure, easy enough, but these key sanity races, it's something else.
Well, not just key sanity, but the piloted nature of it, where they're going directly to everything. No filler whatsoever means you've got to be eyes going in 3 different directions at once. That all being said, enjoy the rest of the action starting this, continuing tonight and going through Saturday and Sunday for the rest of week 4. There are still 3 weeks to go in the season of the league across the Invitational and Open, so still plenty of league action to come for Link to the Past Randomizer League. For Rive on commentary, Ike here on tracking, and Amarith on restreaming. My name is Westside Vandal. Thank you for joining us tonight, and have a good evening.